DSPN, the Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Six Nations rugby over the weekend. Well, if you thought there were some surprise results as far as the Super Rugby round went, what about that? France go to Dublin and absolutely lay a beat down on the Irish. And forget about the last two garbage time tries to pad the score out. That was 42-13 after 76 minutes and 34 unanswered points at one stage there from France in the second half. And they do it without Dupont, and they do it with a flanker playing at centre. England took care of business and did well against Italy this morning. Scotland survived a huge comeback from Wales. And what a final round we've got in store with so many different scenarios. So our man from the Times Online and rugbypass.com, Chris Jones is back. If I had a cap, I'd doff it to you because you warned all Irish fans last week on the program that this could be coming.
Yeah, and, I just want to start off by sending my commiserations to the nation of France. Is in total mourning for the loss of Dupont. They're in even greater mourning because the citing officer is not going to take any action against Byrne or Porter, who were fingered for the incident in which he ended up with cruciate ligament damage. And this is the second time it's happened against Ireland. He suffered cruciate ligament damage in 2018. He was out for 8 months, and now it's happened again. And you would have thought any other team to lose someone who they themselves have built up to be their ultimate world-beating player. He limps off. You think, well, this is a real problem for them. They bring on Luku, who plays out of his skin. They've just added Baptiste Serin to the squad for the game against Scotland, and Serin's been in superb form. So yeah, Dupont is absolutely brilliant for France, but to score 34 points in Dublin against an Irish team that thought they were going to be the first team ever to win 3 titles in a row, what a statement that is.
Yeah, so there's so much to unpick from that, isn't there? Obviously, Andy Farrell sitting there watching that, shaking his head. I mean, that's I can't remember the last time that this Ireland team conceded that many points. I mean, there may be in the record books they've conceded close to 40, but they pride themselves on defence as well. Look, Chris, they were beaten up and they lost, and at least they've admitted it afterwards. They lost the collisions. They just lost the physicality battle. And when you're saying goodbye to 3 guys with 100 caps, all the motivation, as you say, to win it at home and everything like that, that is just the biggest slap that team could have got.
Yeah, the first quarter of an hour they spent attacking the French line. It seemed impossible for France to hold out. But with this Sean Edwards defence and the fact that a lot of young players have bought into that, refusal to let anybody to cross that line. They just were brilliant, and their first chance they took, they scored. And this Biel Barry on the wing is turning into a superstar, proving that yet again you don't have to be massive to be a really effective force on the wing in international rugby. It's great to see, and for Ireland, the navel gazing has now reached sort of Olympic standard because they're lucky they're playing Italy. Italy only play for 40 minutes in any game. So, Ireland will win, but it won't undo the mistakes that they made en masse against France, the biggest of which was to physically give up the battle for the breakdown. And, South Africa will be absolutely laughing because, what did France do? They picked the 7-1 bench. They brought on the rest of the Toulouse players who weren't starting. So basically Toulouse beat Ireland. Yeah. And boy, was it effective. Their physicality was wonderful to watch.
Look, in a couple of minutes, we'll go on, look at the scenarios in the final round. And as I say, look, it is all open and up. But yeah, that would have to be one of the more surprising results. I'm not going to say the most stunning result, but one of the more surprising results in world rugby since the World Cup, surely. Just the scoreline and just the emphatic nature of that French win and the fact it's in Dublin.
Yeah, because, this is meant to be, the big farewell for 3 great players, over 300 caps between them. Everything was there, a massive crowd expecting, Ireland to prove once again that in terms of the Six Nations, they are untouchable. Of course, we know in World Cups they're useless, and I'm afraid
they are the South African white ball cricket team at World Cups. Yeah, it's true, mate. Yeah, I can't do it.
It is just impossible, and we thought they got over this problem about delivering when expected to, but this is such a big slap in the face. You wonder what Farrell, as the Lions coach, was thinking, because he would have expected to base his team for Australia around Ireland. But now there are serious question marks over some of those players. And even Prendergast, who appeared to be sort of leading the charge to be the outside half of the Lions, he found that life behind a beaten pack, boy, is it difficult.
So let's go now to who France play next, and that's Scotland. And Scotland survived against Wales, but I always wonder when you've got that much of a lead. Your Wales came back, scored 21 unanswered points, and they came, bloody close. And in the end, the Scots held out in the end. But was it more just a case of foot off the pedal, or is that real encouragement for Wales? That's 16 losses in a row now, but we're trying to find positives here.
Yes, but by the way, if they can lose 2 more, they equal France's record in 1920. So they've got something to aim for anyway. Look.
I just knew there'd be some stats out there somewhere, right? Surely there's another team on the planet that's lost 50 matches in a row. But anyway.
Yeah. The fact is, Scotland are wonderful. In fact, they're world class at making things difficult for themselves. They win a game and then try and give it up. And now they haven't just done it once or twice. This is becoming a real problem. And, Wales, with that losing record, should never have been in a position to be able to come back at the Scots having established that lead, and with Blair King on playing absolutely brilliantly and securing his place on the Lions tour. But Wales suddenly got a glimmer of hope, and Scotland could not get hold of that ball and say, look, actually, we're at home. We're leading here. It's very comfortable. We're going to win this. It's not a problem. And it puts lots of pressure on Gregor Townsend, their coach, because you have to ask, why hasn't he given this team the mental ability when they're ahead to put the foot on the throat and to kill games off? And they're not doing that. Yeah. So Scotland going to Paris, you know that even if they take the lead, they're going to give it up, because that's just what they do.
Look, and I'm just going back when you're talking about that to the match against England, where they score 3 tries, they can't convert them, any of them, and De Merwe, as you say, when I can see it in front of me going, he actually crosses line and almost goes left instead of going right back towards the post. We saw Rieko Ioane do one for the Blues against the Brumbies on Friday night. The same thing, when Beauden Barrett's kicking boots are off and he needed to come in, he drives over the line when there's no one in front of him and could have. I don't know what's in these players' heads, but anyway. That Scottish side, look, they'd beaten England, then all of a sudden the scenarios, that would be more of them unfolding in the final weekend. But before, again, we get to that, England against Italy, they won comfortably, and they put themselves now in a situation going away to Wales, which has just got everything riding on it. If the Welsh are going to win one game, it's going to be this game. But even England could win the Six Nations. Is that really possible, or is that a bit of a pipe dream?
It's possible, but it relies on the Scots doing something extraordinary in Paris. And they've done it in the past, but it's not something you can put a big bet on. But England, they played much better. They showed some real dog up front. They played against an Italian team that for 40 minutes was right in there. And the second half, they just didn't bother turning up because they were obviously too tired. They could be bothered. We've done 40 minutes. Why do 80? And it's been a recurring problem for them, because when they get bad, they get really bad, and they concede far too many points. And the situation for England is very clear. If they can win with a bonus point in Cardiff, and that's no guarantee, because Wales will know that the panacea for every problem they've ever had is to beat England at anything. This game it will change the whole scenario.
Yes.
But England have a massive problem with their points difference, so they have to win with a bonus point and hope that Scotland do something to either beat France or make it a draw, because France are plus 106 in the points difference. Right. England are plus 20. That is a massive factor here. And all France have to do is match what England have done. And the way this Super Saturday is built for television, funny enough, means that France will know exactly what they need
they got
to
the
do
last game
when they kick off at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because France, France are 8 o'clock at night. England have played before them at 4 o'clock, and 2 hours before that, Ireland have played. So it's all set up for France. And the fact they will want to do it for Dupont, I wouldn't be surprised if he is there, on crutches, just to accentuate the whole scenario. And they will want to go out with a big bang. And the way they were playing in Ireland, you fear for the Scots, because this could be one of the great finales for France. And shows that the young players they brought in are world class, and they're going to get better, which is great for World Rugby.
Look, when that tour down under here was announced for July, and the word was that they're going to send a B or a C or a D team, like they did to Argentina last year, and you're sitting there thinking, oh, okay, what are they going to send? But I mean, yeah, they do have some strength and depth. We won't get Dupont here, though, people. I mean, that ain't going to happen. Can he recover from doing the same, knee injury again? Can he? It's been a different knee, but can he actually recover from that and still be the player that he is?
Well, he's done it before, and the whole nation is basically getting behind him. The Toulouse club has put out a statement saying, Captain, we are by your side every step of the way. And if it's a 9-month, 8-month injury, he'll be back in 6, because that's just Dupont. He will not accept that he is going to be out for as long as they say, because he's a fighter. But you will get a very competitive French team coming down there.
Okay.
I say they've got 2 or 3 other world-class scrum halves. They've shown that their under-20s team is producing players who can make that step up very quickly. And they have about 12 back row forwards who can play in any position in the team
clearly,
and cause you trouble. So it ain't going to be easy.
Well, fabulous competition again, isn't it, the Six Nations? At the same time, Super Rugby round 4, as good as it gets as well, Chris. This is the best Super Rugby competition we've probably had in a decade.
I'm very happy for you, and it's very good that the Drew have won, because
yes,
for Glenn Jackson, to get a win is fantastic at the start of his career as their head coach. We're trying over here to replicate your point scoring final scores, and we're doing as best we can. We're sorry that some teams actually have defensive patterns that stop other teams scoring, but you may want to have a look at that.
Finally, have you got a message for all the Irish fans who are happy just to give it to you with a shovel before that French game? A nice friendly message back.
Look, take nothing for granted. And remember, if you keep on turning up at these big tournaments, not winning them, people are always going to suggest you may not have what it takes.
Truth, eh? No one likes the truth.
This is the DSPN.